back. Welcome back to Formula Drift Japan Round 2 here at Ebisu Circuit. Hello, my name is Alexi Smith. I'm here today with Ryan Sage. We are your commentators for today, wherever you're watching us from around the world. Welcome. So, what do you think of the battle so far?
I mean, it's been super exciting. It's, basically everything that we expected it to be. We saw, a little bit of rub-in. We saw a couple spin-outs. We saw some great entries. And now we're making our way into the Grade 8, where we've got our first battle up, which is going to be Hayashi versus Kasahara.
Both these guys, Kasahara, both these guys in S15s, both very quick cars. So that should be interesting. Our next battle there, Harino versus Yokoi.
Yeah, very, very exciting battle there. I mean, Harino was my pick coming out of top 16 in his battle against Taguchi, so we'll see how he fares against Yokoi. But I think my theory on Yokoi, and the same for Tanaka, I think they are peak late drivers.
Okay.
All right, so and it does look like because one of the drivers from Hayashi and Kasahara called a competition timeout, we will see that as the first battle. But then moving over to the other side.
Okay. Next one, Andy Gray versus Tanaka. Now, Seimi Tanaka. Seimi Tanaka in the S15 Sylvia. Very, very, very skilled and experienced tandem driver. But Andy Gray, just a sledgehammer of a car and a sledgehammer of a technique. It should be make for a very interesting battle. And, of course, the last one we have is Mad Mike versus the winner of our last battle there, Oshiro, in the JZX 100 Mark II. So, Mike, just on fire all weekend. He's got everything dialed in. But Oshiro also being very consistent. So it should be interesting to see how he goes. Okay, so we are starting off with the second battle in the Grade 8, which will be Horino versus Yokoi. So Yokoi already making his way to the start line. Yokoi's car. 2JZ powered. We have Harino, this one powered by a Nissan GTR engine, the VR38, it's basically an HKS engine, all HKS parts, HKS turbo. So monster of an engine, lightweight car, makes for a good formula. But of course we have Yokoi, who is basically been drifting for such a long time that he's probably forgotten more than most of these guys ever know. It should make for an interesting battle. This time Yokoi will be leading in the first battle. The car which is closest to camera is the one that leads. So here we go. We're about to begin the Grade 8. So thanks for everyone who's joined us from all around the world. Great to have you with us here on the internet and wherever you are. Okay, here we go with the first battle of the Grade 8. Yokoi leading Harino. Yokoi leading Harino. All the way out, both cars out into the outer zone. Yokoi running a little bit wide on the clip, but Harino running even wider. Yokoi out of zone 1, out of zone 2, out of zone 3, taking the clip. Harino just struggling with the car, trying to keep up with Yokoi, slowly being left behind.
Well, Yokoi showing some pretty sizable dominance here. Harino just seems to be a bit outmatched out of the gate. Big angle, great rate to angle there. Super good job in the zone by Yokoi. And you can see right here, Harino very, very long on that first inside clip. Yokoi, look at this, threads the needle through outer zone 3. And then Harino is just flustered, unable to match pace with Masashi Yokoi. So great job there. It'll be an advantage to Yokoi as we take a look at it from another location on track. Look at the consistency. He locks into that angle, stays nice and perfect, good fluid movement through that inside clip there. Now, Harino is just unable to match the pace of Yokoi, and Yokoi is running the lead line just about as perfect as you can get, so he's not trying to run away from Harino at all, so we'll be advantage Yokoi right after run number 1.
Yeah, there's a really good run there from Yokoi. So one thing that I'd like to point out to people who are watching and aren't familiar with everything about drifting, one thing that's really important is when you see cars get angle, they don't get the angle in a sort of a choppy way. What we really like to see is cars get a big angle and then hold that angle and with a lot of speed too. So if you see a car get lots of angle but it gets there slowly, or if it gets there kind of choppily, that's not really seen as a good thing.
Bum bum ba okay. Bum. You know what that's from?
Price is Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yes,
nice.
There you go. I got it right. In Australia, it's the noise is the one from Family Feud when you get the mark and it goes like that. Yeah. That's the one that everyone says. So if you say something wrong, it's yeah.
I think in the States we have the X. That's a big like.
Yeah. It's when the X draws, but we don't get the we get the like that. Yeah. So there you go.
Very good.
What was that one this morning? The stay right with us. We'll be back shortly.
Oh, after these messages, we'll be right back.
That's it. I went and looked it up on YouTube.
Yeah, that's Saturday morning cartoons.
That's an ABC.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I went and had a look at that. Okay, so we're just looking at something on Harino's car. We've got the race tape out there. Maybe his one of the rear little things on the back of the car a little bit loose. Make sure that, of course, these cars are safe to drive. You don't want anything flying off the cars mid-run, if it can be helped.
Just got a cool message from Ken Gushi. He's watching home. It's probably fairly late back home. Probably.
Dai Yoshihara's watching, is he?
Oh, is he? No, not Dai. Ken Gushi.
Gushi. Which one is he? Oh, yeah, that guy.
What?
Yeah. It's okay, I know him.
And I saw 2 Ken Gushi shirts at the event this weekend. So Ken, you're very well loved out here.
Yes, I saw one of those as well. That was pretty cool. It's okay. He knows that I'm just playing. It's fine.
You just middle fingered the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting lots of messages from all around the world too. Okay, here we go. The second battle between Harino and Yokoi. This time Harino will be leading Yokoi. Look how close Yokoi is to the back of Harino. Both cars out to the first out of zone. Bodywork flying off the back of Harino's car. Yokoi right up against his door. And a big flick and a spin there from Harino. Wow, okay, so that's a similar thing that we've just seen before.
Harino pulled a Steve.
Yeah, a Steve. Oh,
that's my nickname for Shang.
Right. Yeah, so once again, I mean, this guy is a professional racing driver, but this isn't racing, this is drifting. It requires a completely different set of balls, I don't know, but have a look at this. Look how close. Look at Yokoi. Look at Yokoi.
Yeah, absolutely aggressive from initiation, just right on the back bumper of Harino. Now, Harino does not fill that second outer zone. He times it incorrectly, and then as he transitions back around, similar to what Sheng Yan did in front of him, and so that'll be a 0 for him, and Yokoi was able to avoid any kind of contact there, so no worry about his vehicle.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned Sheng Yan's driving. If you look at, if we get a replay again, maybe you won't get a replay again, as Harino was coming down past the second outer clipping zone, so we're going to get a result here. You could see that smoke was absolutely pouring off his tyres.
He's on throttle.
He was really hard on throttle trying to get away from Yokoi. Obviously, he was very intimidated by Yokoi, which means he didn't transition the weight of the car properly, and he spun out. So Harino, a professional driver, makes the same mistake as someone who is just progressing up through the ranks. So there you go. That's drifting for you. You can it really shows when someone is skilled and experienced. So there we go. We have a result 1-2-3 in favor of Masashi Yokoi, who will be moving on to the top 4. So great run there. You're not getting too hot there. We have very sunny weather.
Yeah,
we might have to
blasted.
Move over a little bit. So here we have our next battle now. As we can see, it is very sunny, nice, lovely weather here. Beautiful, perfect for drifting, perfect for the crowd. Might be a little bit hot in their racing suits, but that's what they're there for. And next battle now, Hayashi versus Kasahara. Now, Kazuki Hayashi, S15, Masaki Kasahara, also S15. Now, both these guys, cars very fast. Both guys very aggressive. Kasahara's car set up a bit more for a bit softer in the springs, a bit more grippy. But Kasahara's car really puts the power down and can slide and tuck in very well in the tandem battle. So I get the feeling that Kasahara's going to do really well in the following run. But here we go. We have Hayashi leading this time. Come down to the first corner. Big flick for both cars out to the outer zone. Great lead run there from Hayashi. Kasahara, not quite as much angle. Oh, we have a bit of a funny sound there coming out of Kasahara's car. It sounds like it's missing quite heavily. It's only running on about 2 or 3 cylinders. As came down to the first inner clip, all of a sudden the engine sounded like a bit of a chainsaw.
Yeah, not very healthy there. So Hayashi, your #1 qualifier, putting himself in a pretty solid position here to guarantee himself a podium if he can get out of this battle. Good flick. He just goes a little, if you wanted to nitpick, a little bit long on that outer zone.
Yeah.
It causes him to go just a tiny bit wide on that inside clip. But right there, Kasahara having what seems to be some car issues there and unable to stay and match pace. Not only that, but also line with Hayashi. And now again here from initiation, good flick. You can see very little use of e-brake there, using angle in the car to slow it down. Right there, just a tiny bit long on that inside clip, but just very little imperfections. And then nice job on that last outer zone, wrapping it back around there. So advantage Hayashi going into run #1, and we'll see what Kasahara does here if he will use a competition timeout to check the vehicle to see what problems he may have been having.
Yeah, he's just driving past the judging stand right now. Car doesn't sound anything too odd. There's no black smoke coming out, so I'm not really sure what happened there. It sounded like some sort of ignition problem with his car under full acceleration around the first inner clip. But he is heading back to the start line. We'll see if he is going to call some sort of timeout for any sort of mechanical checks. But yeah, he's already used his competition timeout, so
Well, it could be shot then.
he could. He might be out because that did sound fairly bad. It didn't seem to sort of that problem resolve itself. It started making a brr, brr, brr sound around the inner clip and continued doing that. Obviously, he probably had his foot trying to almost going through the firewall, trying to keep the car going, but it only sounded like it was running on about 2 or 3 cylinders. So he's having a bit of a talk to the Mr. Mura there, who's one of the staff here at Ebisu Circuit. He's actually the guy who's in charge of earth moving here. He made this nice little stand that he flattened out this area that we've got the stand on right now. So thanks to him. So he's having a bit of a talk. So obviously Kasahara, some sort of problem with his car.
I mean, it's not looking good because you do need to go back to the line unless the technical staff wants to look at the vehicle for safety purposes. So he's not going to have much of an allowance here. He does not have the competition timeout according to what we're hearing. So this might put him dead in the water here if he is unable to continue within a very short period of time.
Yeah, and if he can't lead, obviously if he's down on power, he won't be able to lead, which means it wouldn't be really worth doing anyway. So we're just various radio messages going back and forth. So he's taking his foot off the brake there, so I wonder if he's going to start moving. Take this opportunity to have a bit of a look at some of the messages that I've been getting. Jaden from the Sunshine Coast is watching. I love seeing where you guys are all watching from. Melbourne, Adelaide in Australia, Justin in Australia. So many Aussies here. Come on, if you're watching from around the world. Here we go. Logan in Wisconsin, USA. Nawaf from Oman. Okay, we have a viewer from Oman. We had one from Saudi Arabia before. Justin from Cali. Let's see. Watching the stream from Michael from New Zealand, loving the rotary. All you Kiwis with your rotaries. Adi Sakimo from Finland. Finland mentioned. Brady from Phoenix, Arizona. Nick from Seattle. Sean from Washington, USA. Thanks so much for all your messages. I'm really glad to see how popular this live stream is. Chris Campbell from Elko, Nevada. So many places all around the world here. We go Rasmus from Denmark. We have a few Northern Europe guys there. We had someone watching from Takapuna, Auckland. And we had some other guys before from Belgium and Norway and Uruguay, also Brazil, Brasileiros. So we're just, I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm just sort of looking at my phone and reading all the messages from around the world. Let's see what else we got here. Louty, Dallas, Texas. There are a lot of messages going around, so I can't really hear what's going on. I think maybe we need to get his car towed back to the pits. It's okay, we know you know Gushi. Yeah, I'm just teasing, Ken. Come on. Declan from Bundaberg. I'm assuming that's from Queensland. Matamata, New Zealand. All you Kiwis cheering for Mike. I'm sure he's glad to hear that. Parker from Maple Ridge, BC.
Just real quick, let me just check in here, give you guys a little bit of an update. It looks like or sounds like a little bit of lost in translation there, trying to explain exactly what the situation was to the on-site technical staff. But it does sound like, regardless of the competition timeout or lack thereof from Kasahara, he will be bowing out of competition. There was some question about whether or not he actually had a competition timeout, or if the repairs that he made were under the legal repairs that could be made after contact that was made to him that was not his fault. So we will go ahead and verify that, but it does look like not 100% confirmation, but more in the 93 to 94% range that Hayashi will get the win there, with Kasahara possibly bowing out, which means because he's a #1 qualifier moving into the Final Four, he has guaranteed himself a spot on the podium. So that is a pretty big happening here already.
Okay, so I'll write his name in pencil in the top 4 bracket. So probably Hayashi, that's the guy you can see there. He may 90, I think Ryan said 96%, moving on to the top 4 and a guaranteed 3rd place. All right, so that means, all right, so a little bit of confusion. Of course, this is, it's Formula D. It's an American series. We're running here in Japan. We have 2 or 3 people in between every communication going back and forth. So just sometimes when things get confusing, they get a bit more confusing. But it's been all right so far. So hopefully we'll get this show going back on the road pretty soon. All right, so shout out to Rusty's Restos in Australia, Lowbros Drift Club in New Zealand. All you guys sending so many messages. South Carolina, Mikey. Big Rick from Maui, Hawaii. So in Hawaii watching Joel from New Zealand. Oregon and the USA. A couple of guys from Oregon. Of course, watching from Toyota in Japan. Actually, there's the town called Toyota. A lot of drifters in Toyota, funnily enough. A lot of Brazilian drifters who live in Toyota. So guys watching from Ohio, Michigan, New York City, Jolson.
So we're seeing Hayashi leave the line there finally. He was kind of like playing a game of telephone. It finally got to him. Hey, go ahead and leave the line. We got the next battle up. Okay. And we'll hopefully get some final resolution to Hayashi Kasahara. But like you said, this is definitely a game of lost in translation there. Yeah,
there's a bit of Chinese whispers going on. Purple monkey dishwasher that happens here. But never mind. Forget about all that. Here comes a battle. Andy Gray versus Seimi Tanaka. So both these guys, I wouldn't want to guess the battle here. Seimi Tanaka, following runs, one of the strongest followers that you will see in this competition. However, Andy Gray taking his sledgehammer approach to drifting and also car building. This thing spinning its tires all the way down the straight towards the initiation point. Should be an interesting battle. Okay, here we go. This time, Andy Gray in the red chaser leading Seimi Tanaka, S15 following. We have the initiation of Andy Gray all the way out to the outer zone. Tanaka shadowing him the whole way around the first clipping point. Seimi Tanaka, a little bit of a straight in there from him. Oh, trying to tuck in behind Andy Gray. Seimi Tanaka so aggressive in his following run, but Andy Gray also a great lead run. Wow, let's watch the replay. I want to see this again.
Classic Andrew Gray right there, and some pretty aggressive moves in the chase position by Seimi Tanaka as they leave the chicane and come down this short run up here. You can see Andrew Gray's been doing the same initiation all day long. It's kind of slow to angle, but it's perfect in that outer zone. But look at Tanaka. Door-to-door action as they wrap around right here. A little bit of a flub right there by Tanaka, just losing some fluidity right there between outer zone 2 and outer zone 3, but then right back on it. And then again, Andrew Gray, pretty consistent on those zones. He's been just almost clinical in that respect. He does go a little bit wide on that last inside clip, allowing Seimi to gain a little bit more proximity. But look at this right here, surging forward. Right there, he makes a tiny bit of a flub. Andrew fills that second outer zone, that third outer zone, nice and tight right there. Then Seimi gets back on it as Andrew goes a little bit long on that last inside clip. Very exciting battle between these two top competitors here in the Great 8.
Yeah, like I said, Seimi Tanaka, a beast when it comes to following. Of course, the part of the track he got caught up on is the one that has caught the most people so far, that first inner clip. It requires a big change in speed and angle. Okay, here we go. Oh, we think we've got a cone issue on the start line. Who hit the cone?
It was Tanaka.
Seimi knocked over a cone, which requires a restart. So Tanaka, this time lead run. Of course, the lead car does have to go through that chicane in order to slow them down a bit. Of course, following cars are allowed to jump the start if they feel it will help them in their following run. Of course, this means that the lead car can't really drag race away from the following car, and it also means that if the following car is a bit down on power, or maybe the car takes a while to get on to boost or grip up, they can adjust their entry speed. Okay, here we go again. This time Tanaka in the S15 leading, Andy Gray following. It's going to be another great run. Here we go, the entry. Okay, nice angle from both these guys. Seimi Tanaka all the way out to the edge of the track, outer clipping zone, inner clipping zone. This is a pretty good run here from Seimi Tanaka lead car. Andy Gray, not as close as Tanaka was, but still really good run from both these guys. But unfortunately, maybe for Andy Gray, Seimi Tanaka just a bit further ahead of him than Andy was in his following run, in his lead run.
Well, Seimi had those mistakes between outer zone 2 and outer zone 3, but he was able to maintain close proximity. I think this is the first time we've seen Andrew Gray maybe struggle in the chase position to maintain the same kind of proximity that Seimi did. And you can see it starts off here. Remember, going back to that original run, Seimi was already door-to-door right here. Now, he did make a little bit of a mistake, but you can see that the gap between Seimi and Andrew Gray is pretty significant relative to where we are in competition right now. You want to see those guys getting as close as possible, and as we get down and the better drivers are making their way through, we're going to see those really close battles, and we just didn't see that here in the same way that we saw Seimi attacking in that chase position. Now you can see he has a little bit of shallow angle on that second outer zone, but it's really not that big of a deal. He wraps it back around that last inside clip. And so I got to imagine that this is the first time that we've seen Andrew Gray maybe biting his nails a little bit about whether or not he's going to advance here. He was our number 2 qualifier. He had a 95 score, which was the second highest behind Hayashi, who had a 95 with a perfect style score. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah, Seimi Tanaka, not always the best in qualifying, but usually does fairly well in tandems. He's that kind of driver. He really likes to drive tandem when he's just drifting normally. Of course, Seimi Tanaka, his contemporaries include guys like Yokoi and also Naoki Nakamura, who are all monsters when it comes to tandem. So we have judges, 1 for Seimi Tanaka, 1 more time, and we're going to get another result for Seimi Tanaka. So Andy Gray just barely missing out there in the top 8, in the Great 8. Seimi Tanaka, that we have our winner there. Moving on to the top 4. So Andy Gray doing really well up until right now. All yesterday qualifying, in today's competition as well. Really good performance, but unfortunately for him, knocked out by Tanaka. Okay, now moving on to our next battle now. Our second battle now by Mad Mike in the Magic 4-rotor twin-turbo quad wastegate RX-7. He's going up against Daichi Oshiro, who had an interesting set of battles before up against Sheng Nian. Oshiro, a very consistent driver. Very confident in this car, but Mad Mike has been ripping it all weekend in this RX-7, so we'll see what he has to do. This time leading in his first run. Okay, here they come. Shifting up through the gears down towards the initiation point. Here comes Mad Mike's entry. Big angle from Mad Mike all the way out to the edge of the track. But Oshiro, well, Oshiro falling behind. Oshiro losing the drift around the first hairpin. Oshiro driving the rest of the track. Mad Mike finishing his run. So Oshiro losing his drift around the hairpin, or just before the first hairpin. Let's watch this run again. So Mad Mike leading, Oshiro following.
Well, not much to say here. Mad Mike Whiddett hitting 131 kilometers per hour on initiation. Pretty strong run here by Mike. It's not the best first outer zone that we've seen him do, but it was pretty solid. But right here, you can just see that Oshiro shuts it down. Mike through the paces at this point. They'll have a big advantage going into run number 2 as Oshiro unable to finish the run. He'll be sitting on a 0. So Mad Mike one step closer to making it into the Final 4. And if he is able to do that, he will have bested Gray and Matt Field to take the lead, possibly the lead in World Championship points. So we'll see what happens here, but he's got himself well on the way.
Okay, so as they come around to the start line again, I think Mad Mike's already made his way over there. Oshiro, I don't really think there's anything wrong with his car. It looked like he just lost the drift and then just decided to drive the rest of the run. There he is. He's heading back to the start line. So leading in, so going into this run with a disadvantage, a fairly major disadvantage. Of course, nothing is impossible in drifting. It still is possible for him to win. Very slight, but it is possible. So we'll see if he is going to start this battle. So they are both lined up. So it looks like everything's okay. So we will see this battle this time. Oshiro in the red 4-door JZX100 Mark II, leading Mad Mike Whiddett in the Red Bull RX-7 quad rotor. Where's my New Zealand people? Okay, here we go. This time Oshiro leading. Okay, no problem with the start. No? No, I think Oshiro has, there was no red flag there. Oshiro deciding to not complete his run. Mad Mike just going back through, continuing through the course. So that's a fairly obvious result from this battle. Oshiro, maybe some sort of car issues. He did come off the start line and almost immediately shut it down. We have the same sort of issues that caused him to lose the previous battle. So let's have a look at this start again, see exactly where he stopped driving.
Yeah, pretty immediate, yeah. Usually those guys are blasting out of the chicane, and it's almost to an immediate stop right after that. So, you know, who knows what's going on there, but obviously unable to perform. Mad Mike then does an illegal pass, so we're going to have to do this over again. Just kidding.
Yeah, I thought you were serious for a second there. Like, oh, what are these rules I don't know anything about? Yeah, right. Okay, so Oshiro losing the Mad Mike. So that is our grade 8. I got to learn the terms. That's our grade 8 complete. So there we go. Just to make it official, 1, 2, and 3 in favour of Mad Mike Whiddett from New Zealand. Plenty of guys from New Zealand watching, I'm sure. Here comes Oshiro, so this is the last we'll see him today. I'm sure he'll be back for the next round of Formula Drift Japan. Okay, so we do have a result here for... So, Kasahara is out.
He broke and conceded to Hayashi.
Oh, he did. Okay, so just to make it official, for the previous result, Kasahara is out. So our winner of that first battle is Kazuki Hayashi. We have him here. He just has to do his run just to make it official. So this will be basically a test run for him going into the final, the top 4 up against Yokoi. Okay, great run here from Hayashi. So So Hayashi, very aggressive driver. It's going to be great to see him go up against Yokoi in the final. So our, not in the final, sorry, in the top 4. So our top 4 lineup looks as follows. We have Hayashi, who you just saw there, up against Masashi Yokoi in the S15 Sylvia. And our second battle is Tanaka versus Mad Mike. Okay, and we are back here at Formula Drift Japan, round 2, semi-final here at Ebisu Circuit. Thanks for joining us here on the wherever you are on the internet. The live stream here brought to you by Network A. My name is Alexi Smith. I'm here with Ryan Sage. All right, here we go. First battle of the top 4, Hayashi versus Yokoi, 2 S15s. Both these guys, very aggressive drivers in the tandems. This is going to be great. Okay, here they come down the straight, shifting up through the gears.
Oh,
Hayashi
boy.
leading. Well, right on his bumper. Look at Yokoi. Look at the angle on Hayashi, but Yokoi right up against his door. Oh! Hayashi losing his angle there. Straightening up. Yokoi not falling back in the slightest bit. Yokoi right up against him the whole way around. Oh dear, Hayashi messing up on the first inner clip hairpin. Wow. Okay, that's going to make things interesting for the next battle.
Yeah, Yokoi getting better and better by the minute. Watch how close he comes to Hayashi on initiation. Stays with him. That is confidence right there, ladies and gentlemen. And Hayashi lays down a solid lead run up until this point. And Yokoi with him right there, and then just loses angle, not able to pull it through. Big mistake for him out front. He tries to get back on it to salvage the run, but obviously the damage had been done, and Yokoi was there to capitalize on it. So advantage, Masashi Yokoi, as we take a look. Look at that.
Woohoo!
That is incredible. Right on the back bumper, then dives in. Stays tight right here, very consistent.
Very consistent, yeah.
And then you can see the mistake by Hayashi, one of the first mistakes we've seen from him, the #1 qualifier, almost all weekend long. And again, Yokoi was there to take advantage of it. So second run up, Masashi Yokoi will take the lead against Hayashi.
Wow, okay. So actually, I've sort of noticed in a lot of the battles so far today, people have been going into their lead runs with a bit of a disadvantage. So this time, Yokoi will be, so this time Hayashi will be following, so he's going to really go aggressively, I think. He's going to do everything he can to try and take out Yokoi. I don't mean literally take him out.
He's got to get pitted, so pitted.
He's really, are we doing memes now, are we? Yeah. He's really going to have to get in there and show us what he can do. Let's see, we got Yokoi back on the start line. But Hayashi, so yeah, Hayashi in that just making a mistake in a very similar place to a lot of other people. That tightening radius, right-hand hairpin.
And not seeing him come to the line is not a good sign. They are pulling Yokoi off the line now, and we'll try to get some insights of what's going on with Hayashi. But certainly, after a mistake of that gravity. And then not returning to the line, you have to wonder if there's something a bit more significant going on here. I'm seeing a few guys talk over here about what might be happening, and it does look like he's calling a competition timeout.
Okay.
So he has called a competition timeout, and Yokoi will wait for him as we determine whether or not he will indeed be able to make it back to the line, if it's something superficial, or if it's something with much more concern.
Okay, so Hayashi still able to take his, he has the competition timeout, which he's fully entitled to take. So let's watch the replay. Look how close Yokoi is to the back of Hayashi's car. Hayashi there tapping the foot brake, bringing the back of the car around, but just right here, just washing wide. I'm not really sure what happened there. I would have liked to see some sort of in-car camera there to see exactly what went wrong.
Well, that portion of the course is not the portion of the course that you want to go off, because that right before outer zone number 2, there's about a 3-inch step up from the pavement to the outer layer of the track, right?
Yeah.
It's actually right about there.
Yeah.
And we've seen a few guys lose angle, damage wheels, and things like that in that area. That's why that zone has basically is put in an area that allows drivers to get there on a somewhat natural line, but not having to deal with that concrete that comes up on the rumble strip. So we'll see what happens to Hayashi here, but for the time being, we are pulling Yokoi off the line, and it does look like we will go ahead and visit the next battle in the Final Four.
Okay, the next battle in the final four being Seimi Tanaka versus Mad Mike Whiddett. You see Mad Mike there in the burnout box warming up the tyres on his quad rotor Magic FD RX-7. You see there, Team Magic with Red Bull. Of course, Mike running a different car in the series in the United States. This car being built by the workshop called Team Magic. They have their own quad rotor setup, which they have on this car. I noticed on the rotor housings they've ground down where it says 13B and welded on their own little plates that say Magic and sort of blended in the weld, so it looks like it's a factory casting. It looks really cool. And he'll be going up against this guy, Seimi Tanaka. So, like we said before, Seimi, not always the highest qualifier. You know, he does well, but tandem is where this guy really shines. He's very aggressive, but still not overly aggressive. Just quite cool and reserved when it comes to tandem runs, which means he usually ends up doing fairly well in competition. Okay, so here we go. Mad Mike Whiddett in the RX-7 will be leading. Seimi Tanaka following. So here they come down the straight towards the initiation point. Mad Mike shifting up through the gears, popping and banging. Okay, huge flick into the outer zone, but Seimi Tanaka staying right on Mad Mike, matching his angle, matching his speed. Seimi Tanaka falling behind a little bit. Mad Mike flicking the car left and right. Big angle through the third and fourth outer zones. That's the kind of battle we came here to see.
That was awesome.
That entry. We saw Mad Mike flick it, but you thought that maybe Seimi Tanaka wouldn't be able to keep up with it, but check this out.
Well, the epitome of a solid run between both guys. Look at this flick by Mike. Big to angle right there. The rate to angle was solid, then he held it. He kept the tires pretty well adjusted there, but Tanaka was with him. Now Mike gets a little bit of a pull on Tanaka here. Tanaka reels him back in for a second, so it's a back and forth battle between these guys. And you can see as Mike is hitting those pylons, he's actually keeping his rear wheels on the course and in the zone, so that's going to be fine. No deductions there. But the angle from Mad Mike on an issue, and then look, a little bit of contact there, it looked like, or something came off the car there. But either way, both drivers not affected, whatever happened there in that section of the course, and an incredible run by both these top competitors here in the Final Four.
Yeah, I think there might be a slight advantage for one of the... I'm just going to say a slight advantage for Mike, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see what the judges have to say about that. But, yeah, really, really solid run from both these guys.
Well, so definitely, in my opinion, the most aggressive entry that we've seen so far.
That actually managed to...
they managed to hold it.
Be held all the way through, yeah. So we're going to line them up again this time. Seimi Tanaka leading in the S15 Silvia. Mike Whiddett from New Zealand, rotary powered, quad rotor powered. One rotor for every wheel. Okay, so we're just doing a bit of a tape job on Seimi Tanaka's car, obviously coming into contact with one of the... Was that where he came in contact with Mike's car, maybe?
It would be that side.
It would be that side, yeah. So maybe just knocking off the side skirt on Mike's wheel, maybe, or running over one of the outer zone marker weights. That should only be a quick job there with the guys in the start line who are pretty prepared to do this sort of thing.
And in Formula Drift, you know, this year we distinguish between contact and collision, and we use the traditional dictionary terms of those. Collision is when basically, say a chase driver hits a lead driver and it basically stops the run. That would be considered a collision. Contact, like what you may have seen there, usually is not going to have any impact on the run if the driver is not affected. So we know that when you tell these guys to drive door to door, that incidental contact is going to happen, and we don't want them to shy away from driving close to each other.
Well, of course, that's one of the things that makes drifting fun to watch.
That's the whole point.
That's the idea. What did the guy in that Tom Cruise movie say? He's like, you robbed you and Robin's racing. So there you go. Well, there you go. Contact is drifting, maybe. So, yep, drifting is a full contact sport. Here we go again. Seimi Tanaka versus Mad Mike Whiddett. Here they come down the straight. Seimi Tanaka leading this time. Mad Mike following close behind. Okay, great angle from both these guys. Good angle, good speed. Look, a really good proximity from Mad Mike Whiddett, keeping up with Seimi Tanaka. Banging on the limiter down. Whoa, Mad Mike right up against Seimi Tanaka's door. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is a tandem run. Let's watch the replay.
Well, another incredible run by both of these drivers. Amazing out front. You'll be able, if you're watching at home, to notice some of the distinctions between these two runs. Seimi Tanaka takes a little bit more of a conservative approach, and I use that lightly because of how aggressive Mike's was. He fills that zone completely, but Mad Mike is with him all the way. Now watch how Mad Mike surges here, and the difference between the two runs. He stays with him on the inside here all the way through as Seimi goes a little bit long on that inside clip, and Mike takes advantage of it. So we've got run 1 and run 2 in the books as both drivers are headed back to find out who's going to win. Here's a view from another angle here. As you can see, the back and the forth, the surging from Mad Mike Whiddett. The nice line right there. A little bit less angle than or a little bit more angle from Tanaka you'd like to see in that outer zone 2, but he is able to fix it up at outer zone 3. But then again, Mike is there with him the entire way.
Yeah, it was a really good run, that one. So it's, I think we're going to get another replay, maybe? Here we go again. So let's watch this again with Seimi Tanaka leading, Mad Mike Whiddett following. So nice, I mean, looking at the run from Tanaka just by itself, it's still a really nice run. But fortunately for him, there's Mike, basically doing exactly what he's doing, only a few feet behind him. Into the final corner. So here's a replay from another angle. Let's watch the angle that they pull on here. So Seimi, I mean, usually that would be a really good run there.
And you can see on Mike's initiation from that angle how he was able to keep the front two wheels locked at angle without adjusting because of having so much angle. He gets a quick rate to angle, he locks it there and he stays there, and he doesn't have to make too much adjustments. Usually when you get that aggressive or you go with a big flick like that and you hold big angle, sometimes you can get choked up because you're lacking the momentum. This was a case where Mike was able to actually pull it pretty much all the way through almost flawlessly, as we'll take a look at it one more time.
Yeah, so for people who are like watching, so you see him, he gets big angle, but the thing is he holds the angle all the way around. See, sometimes you see people who flick cars with big angle into entries, but then the car has to rotate back around. They have to sort of, or they almost stop, or the angle that they get can't be maintained throughout the entire course or through the entire corner.
Ooh.
So we do have, okay, here we go, one more time, and the third one is in favour of Mad Mike Whiddett. So, that could have been interesting there. One more time for that run from one judge, and then 2 in favour of Mad Mike Whiddett. So, Mike, moving on.
Oh, this is funny.
To the final 2.
Now the names have switched back to normal. So that one said Andy Yen voted one more time. Or no, that one said he voted for Mad Mike. He really did.
Okay.
So it was Robbie Nishida that went with one more time.
Okay, so there you go.
So anybody wants to get mad, that's what you got to do.
Hate mail to Robbie at robbienishida.com. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Do most drift drivers have their own domain name these days?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few, yeah.
Isn't it like some guys who have sort of fairly common names that might have to do like blah, 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 drift?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Sort of thing. Or something like that. I've got my own website.
Yeah, good.
There's nothing really on it. There's just a picture on it. That's it. So.
It's so hard to manage, with social media and everything else.
Oh,
That's where everybody lives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what we're out here doing. I've been Instagramming and Snapchatting pretty much all day. I'm sure if I was driving, I wouldn't have anywhere near the amount of time to do that sort of thing. But that's what we're here for. We're here to bring it all to you so you can watch it. And so once again, to everyone joining us from all around the world, thanks so much for joining us here on the live stream for Formula Drift Japan Round 2 at Ebisu Circuit. Of course, Round 2, we will be having other rounds later this year. Hope you can join us for those as well. Hopefully they're as exciting as this. Has been some really good battles here so far. Okay, so final battle. One driver has been decided. Mad Mike will be going into that. The other is about to be decided here. We have Hayashi versus Yokoi. So, Yokoi leading into this run. Hayashi, yesterday's #1 qualifier, will be following on the first run. So both these guys we've seen, great tandem drivers. Hayashi very aggressive, maybe sometimes a bit too much so. Yokoi also very aggressive, but also very skilled, able to control his car and place it pretty much where he wants it. So we're about to have this battle begin. Hayashi versus Yokoi, 2 S15s, 1 SR20 powered, 1 2JZ. That's the Yokoi machine, 2JZ powered.
Yeah, second half.
Second half. Yeah. So this is the second half of this run in the top 4.
And we will get a replay up for you guys if anybody missed that, just so you can do a side-by-side comparison.
Yeah.
But just so you understand that this is run number 2.
Yeah. So we did have Hayashi call a 5-minute rule on his last run. So having a bit of maybe mechanical issues. He did slow down on the hairpin and sort of lose his drift. So here we go, and Yokoi leading Hayashi. Okay, we do have a red flag. So that was a false start there. That was a false start there. We have, there we go, another one of the Ebisu Circuit staff there on the flags.
I don't think...
So just a reminder to everyone who, if you've only just joined us, what have you been doing all day? Just to remind you what happened in the previous run with Hayashi and Yokoi. Hayashi straightened up slightly and lost his drift on the hairpin. So maybe some sort of mechanical issues caused that, which means he called a timeout. This is the second run, but that first run was, sorry, this run we just had now, a red flag, false start there. Somebody either jumping the start or tapping one of the cones or something like that. If you're wondering, if maybe you're thinking, oh, but the following car jumped the start, they are actually allowed to do that. The following car can actually start at any time if they feel they need a bit of an extra run-up to keep up with the lead car.
Well, this is interesting here because, he calls the competition timeout. Now he doesn't have one, and he's limping back to the line here. So this would be a bummer if we see Yokoi get a win without having to go through 2 runs, but that kind of seems the way that it's leaning here. Something did look wrong with the vehicle, the left front.
Right.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, normally I'd say just run it, but this is the top 4, and this is Formula Drift. So I don't know. I mean, you can't really send out a car that isn't quite safe. I mean, I've seen a competition a little while ago. Actually, it was literally like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where in the final the car that actually won did the final run with a broken link in the rear suspension. So
that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, but he just sort of thought, yeah, it's okay, and he ran it anyway and managed to win. So yeah, active steering, active rear steering. So that was a bit of a different level. That was actually the Ebisu Circuit, the G1 Grand Prix that they run here, the foreigner-only event that they run before the Drift Matsuri. But yeah, this is Formula Drift, so we can't really be having any of that sort of thing. So Hayashi there.
Well, I have to imagine we're going to come to a conclusion here pretty soon because they're not going to give him too much of an allotment of time unless there's some discussion about something that we're not aware of. Typically, after the competition timeout, you have a pretty limited amount of time to get back to the line to run number 2. So obviously it takes a little bit longer because of our chain of communication that we have here.
Yep.
But certainly I'm sure we'll be hearing something pretty soon.
So we're just having a bit of a look under it. I'm sure there's probably some radio messages going back and forth. So there's Yokoi sitting there patiently on the starting line. If Hayashi doesn't make it back, he'll be moving through into the final up against Mad Mike. If Hayashi can't get back to the start line pretty quick smart.
And just hearing here from basically what they're doing is they want the technical manager to come down and actually approve the vehicle for safety before he goes back out on the course. So he's actually driving up to the technical manager now. If they clear it, then he'll get back to the line. If he does not, then, as we said before, that would be Yokoi getting somewhat of an easy berth into the finals with Mad Mike.
Okay, so like we said, this is Formula Drift, so we can't be sending out cars that are unsafe. These guys are driving really fast machines, really close together, with almost zero reaction time to compensate for any sort of mistakes. So adding a thing like mechanical problems is not really a good idea. So just for now, Yokoi is backing up. from the start line. We just, like we said, we just sent Hayashi back up to just a bit further up the road to the hot pits where our technical managers are. He'll be having a quick look at the car, probably making a pretty quick decision. I mean, if the car, is there nothing really wrong with it and everyone's happy, then it'll be coming out pretty soon. Okay, no, we do have word now. So Hayashi will not be driving in this competition now. He's been knocked out with mechanical problems, which means that the driver you can see there just to the right of middle of screen, Yokoi, will be going into the final. So that means that our final here today will be Mad Mike Whiddett in the RX-7 versus Yokoi in the S15 Sylvia. So this might as well be a round of last year in Formula Drift in the United States. It's sort of something you would have seen then, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's these two drivers have obviously earned their position and where they're at right now. They've battled through some incredible competitors, and it's really awesome to see Mike in particular just look so consistent and fluid and solid and do well not only in the lead and the chase. And in Yokoi, my theory is proving to be true, I hope, is peaking at the right moment. He's been getting noticeably better every single round of competition. And finds himself in the finals where he'll be able to see if he can take that momentum and take out probably the next best or the next most consistent driver. So
yeah, just looking at the bracket that you wrote up. That's not the right one, is it? Yeah, where's the bracket
I wrote up?
Where's the bracket you wrote your predictions?
Underneath.
Is that right? Yeah, it's right. There you go. So
let's not say what I predicted. But
okay.
Otherwise, people will think it's rigged. Maybe.
What do you mean? Think? So we have so our winner of this battle, Yokoi, with the technical issue with Hayashi. I was joking. You know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Well, people are gonna say that anyway, so doesn't really matter. So Yokoi moving on to the top into the final here at Ebisu Circuit, Formula Drift Japan, round 2. He'll be going up against Mad Mike Whiddett in the quad rotor RX-7. Of course, here comes Yokoi doing his solo run. So Yokoi there, that lovely straight 6 sound. Just taking it fairly easy through the course. Of course, he does have to complete a run. That's the rule, isn't it? That you actually do have to complete the run to make through. So our final will be Yokoi versus Mad Mike Whiddett. So if you've been with us this entire day, thanks for watching. If you've just joined us, where have you been all day? But you've come at the right time. This is the final here at Formula Drift Japan, round 2, Yokoi versus Mad Mike. We'll be starting that very shortly here at Ebisu Circuit. Great day for it, great weather here out in the countryside here in Fukushima Prefecture in Japan.
You should tell everybody at home the story of Ebisu for those that don't know. I mean, you hear about it, but you don't until you see it. You don't really understand how awesome this place is. But you tell it really well. So.
I do. Okay. Well, basically, okay. So we have, if you've heard of Team Orange before, we had one of the Team Orange drivers out there before. The leader of Team Orange is a guy called
Nobushige.
Nobushige Kubakubo. I can't believe I forgot his name. Kumakubo. Nobushige Kubakubo. Okay. So Kumakubo's family. They own a lot of land around here, and Kumakubo's dad, Kumakubo Sr., started a safari park here on this piece of land, which still exists right now. It actually shares part of its access roads with Ebisu Circuit. They have tigers and bears and all sorts of crocodiles and all sorts of stuff here.
Everything.
They literally have everything. It's great. Monkeys and all this sort of stuff. Kumakubo Jr. decided to build a racetrack because he used to ride motorcycles when he was younger. So they built this track here. This is the very first track they built here at Ebisu Circuit, the Nishi course. It's right by the entrance of the track. And, of course, it became fairly popular. This is, about 20-odd years ago, I think it was, back when racing was extremely popular in Japan. So they built another track here at Ebisu Circuit. Another track. You can see that in a lot of old sort of hot version videos and stuff like that. That was built. And back then, Kumakubo wasn't really a fan of drifting. He liked racing. So sort of thought drifting was a bit more of a, a sort of a street punk thing to do. He didn't really see any sort of potential in it. But then he started to open up events here at Ebisu Circuit for drifting and began to realize, wow, this is going to be the next big thing. This is going to be really popular. So he actually built more tracks, and he didn't actually have other people build them. He drove the bulldozers himself. He designed them. Basically, he didn't even sketch it down. He just sort of drove a bulldozer out and bulldozed out these other tracks. So right now there's about 8 tracks here at Ebisu Circuit, including there's 2 skid pans where you can practice on. There's this track here at Nishi Circuit. There's also another track, North Course, which is a lot of fun. They also have another track called Driftland, also School Course. These are both small, mini circuits designed for practicing drifting on. And then, of course, there is the Minami course, which is very well known in the drifting world. That's the one that you see videos of that famous Daigo Saito doing the jump in his car, his Mark II. That's that course. And also we have another one called Toge course. Toge meaning mountain road or mountain pass in Japanese. It's a very tight, narrow mountain road style course. I think that's the one that people get most excited about when they first come to Ebisu Circuit, because it does have a very sort of illegal feel to it, and especially at night. If you run it at night, it's extremely narrow, dark, and a lot of fun. So that's basically what Ebisu Circuit is. If you were to sort of have a look on, go to Google Maps and type in Ebisu Circuit, get a pretty good idea of how big this complex is. And about 3 times a year, it's actually opened up for an event called the Drift Matsuri, or Drift Festival. And what that is they open up every single track here for drifting. And you can drift it from Saturday morning all the way through until the night, and then until Sunday afternoon. They do close a couple of the tracks at night just for safety and noise, but you can actually go drifting all day, all night, and you will run out of tires, petrol, money, and you'll probably break your car before you run out of track time here. It really is a fantastic place, otherwise known as Drift Heaven here in Japan. It is a fair way from Tokyo. It's about 3 hours away from Tokyo by car. You can also access this place by Shinkansen from Tokyo. It's fairly quick. It is up in Fukushima Prefecture, which unfortunately Fukushima has a bit of a bad name internationally right now due to the disasters which happened a few years ago, the earthquake and the subsequent nuclear-related disasters. But luckily, Ebisu Circuit did not suffer any sort of problems from that. It did have a lot of problems with the earthquakes. There were things where we had land being shifted and landslides and things like that. But it's all been fixed up since then. Kumakubo himself drove the paving machines, got it fixed back up, and it's been booming since then. So
talk a little bit about the other kind of secret thing that people probably don't really know about until they actually come here, is just the pure volume and number of cars that are stored on the property.
The yards of cars. Yeah. Basically, okay, so there are a few car parks here at Ebisu Circuit, which people think, oh, it's a car graveyard, it's a scrapyard. They're no, the cars look like scrap, but they're not. There are a lot of people who store their cars here at Ebisu Circuit and go drifting, like maybe a lot of foreigners too. They will buy a car here and then come over during, for example, one of the Drift Matsuris and go drifting maybe for like a week, every single day. You can go drifting every single day of the week here at Ebisu Circuit. So, even if you have time off only, for maybe 1 week a year, we have some people in Australia who work in the mines over in Western Australia. They will work for like, a couple of months out in the mines and then directly fly out here to Ebisu Circuit, stay here for like a week or 2 weeks for their holiday, and then fly back to work. Like, that's how popular this place is. People literally will come to Japan, land at Narita Airport in Tokyo, rent a car, drive directly up here, drift here all week, drive back to the airport, and then just fly home. Like, they won't go sightseeing or anything like that. Like, that's how much fun this place is to go drifting. So that's a bit about Ebisu Circuit for you. Of course, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. If you just type in Ebisu Circuit you'll get a whole lot of videos of all sorts of drifting going on here.
And I think the final component to that, to kind of tie up the entire story, is that there's somebody in the series right now that basically has their domain, their home, their house, their shop, their business here, and that's Andrew Gray. And basically, he runs power vehicles out of here. He rents cars. He is here working in the shop constantly, and so he is kind of a mainstay here at Ebisu Circuit. This is basically his home track.
That's right. I mean, if you talk to, if you ever wanted to really go drifting at Ebisu Circuit, one of the easiest ways is just to talk to Andy or his wife Emily, who look after all the people who come here. You can go drifting. I mean, it is a fairly long hike from pretty much anywhere in the world. But if you just want to go drifting and that's it, this is definitely the place to come. You can, like I said, every single day. I've actually got a gold card, like a yearly pass. It's sort of like a Disneyland, pass. I can, which allows me to come here literally every single. I could come here every single day and go drifting with one of those. It's fantastic. It's not really that expensive too. I think a full day on the 5-track pass is only about US, I don't know, about maybe $90, I think it is, for a full day. And that means that's not even with sessions or anything like that. You can basically just drive up to the track, go out when you like, go drifting, come back in. You can do 2 laps. Bring the car back in, have a rest, go back out again. You can go out with your friends whenever you like, because it is such a big circuit. And there's so many places you can go drifting here. It really never gets crowded except for the Drift Matsuri events. It does get a bit crowded, for example, like the weekend before a major competition, you might get people out doing test and tunes on their cars. But even then, there'll be times where you can just go out by yourself. I myself have a car. I keep a car here at Ebisu Circuit. Just chuck all my stuff, all my tools and tyres in a van.
Is that the Skyline?
That's the Skyline, the silver Skyline I've got up here. I just drive up here in my van in the morning, drift all day, and then drive back home at night. Don't have to worry about breaking anything, or if I do break something, I just make a note of it. I'll take a photo of it with my phone, go back home, and I've like a week to order the part, bring it back up, and then get back up here, just replace it. It's a really good way of doing things.
Yeah, to kind of paint a picture for somebody that saw it for the first time, you literally, almost as far as the eye can see, are stacks upon stacks of various makes and models of mostly Nissans and Toyotas, a few, I see a few Subarus out there, right?
Yeah.
That are literally just parked in these big lots that have been used for competitions. Guys are either, they're keeping them here for storage, or they'll come back at some point, or for whatever different reason, and they all pay a little bit of a fee to store the car here, and that's pretty much what it is. It is an incredible sight, and you definitely, I see how you could get desensitized to it if you see it every single day, but the first time you see it, you're like, okay.
Well, I mean, I do remember the first time I came here, how long ago? It was a long time ago. I came to watch a competition here. And like you said, I saw cars that back home would be like an absolute unicorn, and just parked there. Like no one's going to steal this. Is this okay? Like, it's amazing.
Well, here we go with the finals. Finally here, Masashi Yokoi and Mad Mike Whiddett, an incredible duo about to go down here. Both these drivers are at their best at this moment, and we will find out here shortly, in just a few minutes, who's going to take home the second event of the year. And for Mad Mike Whiddett, competing in the World Championship, definitely giving himself a big lead against Matt Field and Andrew Gray.
Yeah, of course, both these guys have been doing really well. Okay, here we go. The first battle, Mad Mike will be leading. Yokoi following. Here they come down to the entry. Watch Yokoi right up against the back of Mad Mike Whiddett. Oh, Yokoi smashing both the markers. Not back you off. Mad Mike, big angle down the hill, out of zone 2 and 3. Yokoi running a little bit wide there. That's commitment there from Yokoi. You see him tuck in and just hold it there.
It was like quiet for about 5 minutes as the tires were getting changed, and all of a sudden it was like a bomb went off right on the track here. Let's take a look at this again. As you can see, very aggressive by Yokoi. Nice move by Mad Mike Whiddett. Yokoi goes a little bit deeper there, hitting the pylons as Mad Mike wraps around this inside clip. Big angle by Mad Mike as he makes an adjustment. Then right there, a little e-brake pull to get into that third outer zone. And then Yokoi makes a little bit of a mistake not following Mad Mike Whiddett through that last section of the course. Let's take a look at it again from another angle. Here's that aggressive move by Yokoi. You can see he goes a little bit too deep there. And then Mike wrapping around that inside clip. throw some angle in the car to get set up for this third outer zone, and then right there, Yokoi just makes another little bit of a mistake. So a little bit unlike Yokoi, very, very exciting on this first outer zone with things exploding and the proximity just absolutely amazing. But now Mad Mike Whiddett is going to have to put down a solid chase run, and Yokoi is going to have to pull out all the stops here as we've got ourselves a nice battle on hand in the finals.
Yeah, of course, the second half of the run is important too, but, you know, entry is one of the most exciting parts of drift, and that entry there by Mad Mike was fantastic, but that following there by Yokoi just tucked it in and just held it there right up against Mad Mike's RX-7. We saw from that low angle we just saw there. Looked like he was about to smash into him. Pretty great run there. So they're just down there on the starting line there, just taping up Yokoi's front bumper. Of course, his rear bumper is now down trackside after hitting both of those markers on the outer zone 1. So I'm pretty sure we're going to head straight back into this battle. So first half of the final here at round 2, Ebisu Circuit, Formula Drift Japan. We're down to the final here, the second run of the final. First run was one of the most aggressive ones we've seen all day, and rightly so, being the final. We're just making sure we're doing safety checks. So once again, thanks to everyone who's been joining us from all around the world here at Ebisu Circuit. It feels like you're here with us, enjoying this beautiful weather, this fantastic location, and also this awesome drifting. I can't wait to see this second run. So in this second run we have Yokoi will be leading this time. Yokoi in the S15 Silvia. We have Mad Mike Whiddett in the black RX-7 quad rotor twin turbo quad wastegate. Lots of pipes sticking out of the hood there. Just doing final safety checks. It's going to be a good run. This is either going to go one way or the other. I mean, obviously, but it's going to be pretty exciting, I reckon. Mad Mike Whiddett being very consistent all this weekend. He seems to have a good feel for the car, and the car seems to be very well set up. He just seems confident when he does his solo runs. He seems to be having fun with it. But of course, Yokoi, what do they say about fear the man who only owns one gun? He knows how to use it. Like Yokoi, been driving an S15 with this kind of setup for a very long time. He knows how to handle it. He knows how to drive it. And even taking the car out of the equation, Yokoi is one of the most aggressive and precise following drivers you can find.
So it looks like the final touches on the side skirts of Mike Whiddett have been done. And here we go, the second half of the battle here in the finals.
Okay, so 1, 2, here we go. Both cars okay. Starter has pressed the button. We're about to begin this run. Yokoi leading, Mad Mike following. This is the final run of the final. Here comes Yokoi. Yokoi throwing it down. Mad Mike tucking in right up against him. Look at Mad Mike's proximity there. Yokoi faking the tires, flicking the car left and right, but Mike right up against his door. Tucked in all the way to the finish line. A round of applause from the judges. That was a great run there. Let's watch this replay between Mad Mike and Yokoi.
Well, Mad Mike has continued his route of consistency, and the level of driving has been so high here. Yokoi trying to do everything he can. Great initiation there. He does not get deep into the zone, and you can see Mad Mike takes advantage of it, stays nice and tight right there on Yokoi, pressing him hard, making another attack on the inside here. Door-to-door action. No mistakes from Mad Mike. He cannot be phased, and it looks like we will have a winner here as the judges quickly put in a score. Here it is again from another angle. You can see Mad Mike dives right in. He stays on throttle here through this first inside clip. And then Yokoi blasting the smoke line right in Mike's face. Mike comes through the smoke cloud, is not phased, and is with him through the finish line. So incredible run by both drivers, but looking like Mike was the better of the two here today.
Yeah, I mean, just both these runs, just when you think that the lead run was so awesome and couldn't be beaten, then the following car just would tuck in like that. We saw that on both the runs, but maybe the second half of the run might be the part that makes the difference. So there you go, the final here at Ebisu Circuit, round 2 of Formula Drift Japan between Yokoi and Mad Mike Whiddett, RX-7 versus S15. Okay, so we're just going to have the announcements here. Going to be lining up Mad Mike, Whiddett, also Yokoi down in front of the stand. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're bringing down the cars from the final battle. We have Yokoi and Mad Mike coming down right now. Of course, we have our third place, Hayashi, who won third place due to his qualifying standings. Is that right?
That's right.
That's
Number
right.
1 qualifier.
Number 1 qualifier, so he gets through to third place. So great runs from all these guys.
So impressions of the weekend have certainly been pretty strong and exciting. We've seen some incredible battling. We saw really interesting things transpire during qualifying with the rain, and now we find ourselves in the final battle to determine who's going to win here, Masashi Yokoi or Mad Mike Whiddett.
Yes, we're going to have the announcement here. First, third place, and then we'll announce the winner.
And this is coming from the overhead PA, is that right?
Yeah, he will be announcing that. Okay, so announcing third place for Formula Drift Japan, round 2 at Ebisu Circuit. So in third place we have car number 15, Kazuki Hayashi, taking third place. So next we're going to announce first place, who won first place between Yokoi and Mad Mike. And we have the winner here, car number 1, 2, 3, Mad Mike Team Magic with Red Bull.
I think
takes
he
the
got
win.
second for a second there.
He didn't know that they were announcing it third, first, second, I think. And in second place we have Masashi Yokoi, just barely missing out. I mean, the run that Yokoi did, both on his lead and follow run. I mean, in any other battle, he would have won it. In literally any other battle we saw today, he would have won it. But unfortunately, it was the final. He was up against Mad Mike, who's been on fire all weekend so far. So Mad Mike, there we have him with the Team Magic car builders, also with his spotter there, JT, and the Red Bull team, taking out the win here at Formula Drift round 2 and also round 3 of the World Championship.
Well, an incredible event here this weekend as we wrap up our top 3 with Hayashi in third, Yokoi in second, and Mad Mike Whiddett taking home first place. I believe this is his first ever Formula Drift win, either in Japan, Asia, or the U.S. So
right.
A big victory for him, and obviously very excited there. I have to imagine he was probably stunned for a second, thinking, "Oh, I got second. I just crushed both those runs."
Yeah.
And then he realized after the translation that he had actually won the event.